You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
And good morning or good afternoon, and welcome to Ask the Vet with Dr. Jeff here, the only live radio call-in show on Pet Life Radio. And we're here for you. We're here for your pets. We're here to answer your questions, whatever those questions may have been. We're here to save you some money. You know, how great is it to talk to a vet live, and you can just ask away. And here on Pet Life Radio, it doesn't cost you a dime. So if you're having those issues with your pet, you're just not sure any of that verbiage the doctor is using, here's your opportunity to just kind of, ask away, and we'll answer your questions for you. Of course, we're here thanks to our sponsors. In fact, we have some new sponsors on board. We have, of course, Kong Veterinary Products. We have Prosense, and we're going to be introducing Save This Life Microchip. In fact, we have a very special guest joining us here today, as well as Elanco Lilly, makers of Comfortis and Trifexis and a lot of really good stuff. My dogs are on Trifexis and just do amazingly well. So, as I said, we have a good guest today. I know we're trying to get you in and out through all the games. You got some time. Of course, we got our Cardinal-Panthers game, and I know Chance, our guest, is very, very excited to see his Patriots go against the Broncos. So anyway, let me give you a little background. Chance and I met years and years ago here in Los Angeles. Chance was running a rescue. He's one of those guys, he's a big guy with a bigger heart. And he was running Save This Life, a rescue here in town. And I guess they just called it Chance. Anyway, he was pulling animals from shelters and from death row and taking them in. And I met him in front of a pet store where they were sort of showing these animals and trying to find homes for them. And he told me what he was doing. And I said, no, I'll help you out. I mean, I have a big hospital. We can provide some cages for them. We can treat them, etc. And that's what happened. We started our relationship way back then, and then he disappeared. I find out later he moved to Texas, Austin, Texas. Anyway, he started something that I thought was really, really cool, and probably one of the coolest innovative ideas in the microchip world. Now, mind you, I have been a big fan of microchips way back, supporting all the microchip companies. I have personal relationships with many of them. The old Avid microchip, the guy who is the sort of the business mind behind Avid, is a high school classmate of mine. I did some work with Sharing Plow for Home Again. Now I've kind of switched over for many, many good reasons, and you're going to hear why in a minute. And I'm using Save This Life, and I recommend it. And the beautiful thing about Save This Life, as we're going to learn, is you don't have to have a Save This Life microchip to take advantage of Save This Life. So if your pet is already implanted, there's no need to go get another chip. Don't let anybody talk into that. There is a reason. We're going to talk about that in a minute. If you're traveling out of the country and you have an old chip, because that has the old technology as far as the old frequency, the readers out in other parts of the world will no longer be able to read your old chip. So you may have to get a new chip then. But anyway, Chance White, Save This Life microchip. Tell me how this happened.
Okay. Basically, as you said, we met. I was doing rescue, and I was out in the street, basically trying to get animals adopted. And I came up with this idea. It was close to 6 years ago, and I just didn't have any money behind it. So I brought it to an investment group, and I said, hey, look, guys, I have a great idea. Let me show you how it works. Within 2 days after talking to them, we actually got funding. We filed our logo. 2 weeks later, we filed our first patent here in the United States. Since then, I actually filed in 117 countries total, and we currently now sell in 29 countries through Henry Schein Animal Health, the largest distribution company in the world. So we've been pretty lucky. So basically how it works is simple. You take the microchip number and you put it in Google and just hit search. And what you're going to get from that is you're going to get information about the pet that you found and an ability for the person who found that pet to contact the pet owner privately without ever knowing that they're actually contacting this particular pet owner via text and email. So what we do is we send the pet owner a text message, an email, and an actual GPS map of exactly where the person is standing that actually found that lost pet. So example is you get that email that says, or that text message that says, hey, I found your pet. Here's the contact or the pet finder's phone number and the pet finder's email. But when you click on the link, this is literally the exact location through GPS and Google Maps of exactly where the person's standing when they actually found your pet. So instead of the traditional method of calling an 800 number, hoping that there's somebody on the other end of the line with that contact information, we're sending the contact through Google via text, email, and a map of where they're standing. So we've essentially cut out the middleman, made it faster and obviously more effective so that people can actually get their pets back. I mean, what's the number one reason people microchip their pets? They want them back. So we've expedited the process faster than ever before. So essentially that's
So,
how...
one thing I want to say, first of all, I want to add that from my perspective, I can't tell you how many people come in for their microchips and they say, oh, so now if they get lost, this is like a GPS. And they say, time out. No. You can't implant a GPS into a dog, period. All the GPS devices, and there are a few out there, and I think they're great as an add-on to what we're doing here with the Save the Life for any microchip. Is that it's an external device. You got to change the batteries. It's emitting a signal. You can't have, at least for now, I'm sure technology is going to improve at some point, but right now you can't do a finder. It's not a low jack. You can't implant it in the car, implant it in the pet. So what this does is this takes a microchip and the phones of the finder and the owner, and they create the GPS. So now they're using the GPS signal through your phone. So the beauty is that if you find a dog on the street and you look at their tag, and their tag says, "Hi, I'm lost. If I'm lost, call this number." And it has the 800 toll-free number. By the way, speaking of toll-free numbers, I'm sure you're going to have some questions. So 877-385-8882, that's our number here at Pet Life Radio. If you want to talk to me or ask any questions for Chance, give us a call, 877-385-8882. Another thing you can do is if you go on, we're on Google right now, you can see me, you can see Chance. And we want to see you. If you have a question, you can go on to PetLifeRadio.com, click on the Ask the Vets tab with Dr. Jeff. You log on and just follow. It'll say follow this link to Google Hangouts, and we'd love to have you join us as well. So, as I was mentioning, the old way was, so you have to call. Now, let's say you call, and first of all, you can't read the scanner. The scanner, those little plastic tags that they wear, most time that number's worn out anyway. So you're stuck. Now, you, the finder, you are relying on the finder to being such a good Samaritan that they're going to go out of their way now, and they're going to go to a shelter or a vet hospital and try to get that microchip read. And then the phone call's made to the microchip company, etc. You're asking a lot of somebody who finds this dog on the street, who's busy, etc. Here with Save This Life, you don't need any of that. You don't need the scanner. You don't need the microchip company. All you need is that Google number, which is sitting right on the tag. And what I really liked about this, and how many animals out there are already microchipped? I know a lot of you listeners out there, you are such good pet parents. You already have your pet's microchip. You're going to say to yourself, well, that sounds great, but now what? Well, guess what? You can actually register with Save This Life. And what does it cost? I mean, it's so cheap. It's unbelievable.
$19.99. $19.99 plus shipping and handling.
Wait a second. And how long is that $19.99 good for?
Lifetime.
Okay, so we're not talking. You don't have these hidden annual fees for keeping your registration active. And how about if you move or you change your phone because someone ripped off your cell phone?
All included.
All free.
Correct. All free. All included in the.
So I want to know what pet parent out there who loves their animals so much, who already has a microchip, is not going to spend $20 for this security.
Well, we also give them $1,000 of lost pet health insurance for 1 full year as well. So they're covered for $1,000. God forbid something happens when their pet is lost in that first year, they're covered with Save This Life's lost pet health insurance. That helps.
Yeah, I'll say. I mean, when you think about it, and that's why I thought, oh my God, as I'm listening to Chance and first catching up a little bit, what happened to you? You disappeared off the face of the planet. And he tells me what he's doing, and I was like sold immediately because it's great. So I got my dogs are registered with Save This Life. Now it's at my office. It just makes such smart sense. Not to mention for you, for the pet parent, it's as expensive, or I should as inexpensive as any of the others, probably less expensive than some of the competitors out there. But the beautiful thing is it's what you get and the peace of mind that you're going to get and a one-time fee, which makes it fantastic. Now, one thing, I alluded to it, and Chance, let's talk for a second about the new frequency and the ISO system that's now, I think we were the last country on the planet to move over to ISO. Right. So I know when you think about the United States, probably the most advanced country in the world when it comes to pets and what we do for our pets and how much we love our pets. I mean, when I was in Mexico, when I was in Peru, and people heard that my dogs sleep in bed with me, they thought I was certifiably nuts. So it's a very unique relationship that we have with our pets, and yet we were the last country to move over to ISO. But from a technical standpoint, why don't you share with us, Chance, what that means to pet owners who don't have ISO chips?
If you travel anywhere in the world except for here in the United States, there is not a scanner out there that will actually read your microchip. So that's why you hear people getting a pet passport. The pet passport has to be certified by a licensed veterinarian and actually have an ISO-compatible microchip attached to that pet And they actually have a fail-safe where they will scan it, read it, and verify before you get on the airplane. Quick funny story for you. I was out in Nashville, Tennessee, and I have a client out there. It's a 2-doctor practice, and they were telling me they do a lot of work with a lot of celebrities. So once they actually had an emergency where they got called out literally to the airport, had to bring one of our chips out there and chip this pet that belonged to, I won't say the client that it belonged to, but a very prominent country singer. And she was so mortified to think that she adopted this pet. It had a microchip, but it wasn't a microchip that we read outside the country. So they literally chipped the pet on the runway at the airport in Nashville, Tennessee. That's how important it is, because literally no other country besides the U.S. can read that chip. That's what the ISO standard is so that international standard organization can actually read that particular frequency of 134.2. Super, super important. Most people don't realize what it is, but the reality is it's their ticket to freedom. If they lose their pet, they're going to get it back, because if it goes to the shelter, they have to have that type of scanner to read it. And unfortunately, that's not the case here in the U.S.
So, interesting also, and you mentioned something that's important, just how do you know anyone who has their pet microchip? First of all, it was microchip more than a few years ago. Chances are you're not going to have an ISO. But here's how you can tell, an easy way to tell. Pull out your paperwork and look at your microchip number, okay?
Right.
And the microchip number, if it is a non-ISO, I'll give you one company, Avid. Every is 9 digits and preceded by AVID. Okay.
Correct.
Most of the others, 24-hour Pet Watch, Home Again, the ASPCA, all the other chips are going to have a 10-digit alphanumeric. Might say something like 48B627C112, whatever it is.
Correct.
So you know if you have 10 digits and it's a mixture of numbers and letters, then that is not ISO. ISO is going to be 15 digits long,
correct.
All numbers. 15 digits, all numbers. Here in the West, we usually start with 9900 or 980, but it could be anything.
Yep.
But I will tell you that if your microchip does not have 15 numbers, then it is not ISO.
Correct.
And then you need to be very careful, because now, for example, I know that because of the transformation, the changeover here in the States, the readers that most of us get, I know the readers that Chance has from Save This Life are what we call universal readers. They can read the old and they can read the new. So I have universal readers. But I would say these are going to get phased out in the next few years, guys. And make sure for now, at least register with a registry that can help you find your pet more quickly, but also very important to know how important it is to have a universal microchip that can be read from anywhere in the world, and make sure that your pet's going to be safe. Anyway, we got a break here for a quick few minutes. A word from the network sponsors here on Pet Life Radio. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back, right after these messages. Stay tuned.
I'm home. My hair looks cute. Now what?
Bringing home a puppy or new dog is exciting, and he's depending on you to keep him in good health. Dogs need special care to keep them healthy as they grow throughout their entire life. Caring for their health is critical in all stages. With Prosense, it's simple and convenient to give your dog the care it needs with effective and quality products that treat, prevent, and provide essential daily vitamins and minerals. Prosense products are veterinary formulated and recommended to ensure the very best for your pet. Try Prosense today. Your dog will thank you for it. Pets love life. Love them back with Prosense.
People say less is more. At Red Barn, we think less is better. It's what you won't find that sets our natural premium pet food apart. No byproducts, no corn or soy, no fillers. Just the natural ingredients your pets need to live the healthy life they deserve. Look at the label. We want you to. Red Barn Naturals Pet Food. Simply the best. Find it in your local pet specialty store. Try our chicken rolled food as a meal or shredded as a topper.
It's DesignerPetSweaters.com. Hand-knitted designer sweaters for your precious pup or cool cat. Beautiful couture patterns for your pets, including custom-knitted formal wear, casual wear, yachting, and even sports-themed. Many designer pet sweaters include feathered tammy hats, top hats, and a lot of sparkle. Each sweater includes leg loops, front paw sleeves, and leash opening. Visit DesignerPetSweaters.com to order your four-legged fashions today. Your pets will stay warm for the winter and be runway ready. Large or small, we fit them all.
Let's
DesignerPetSweaters.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Hey, and welcome back. You're here live with Dr. Jeff Werber, host for Ask the Vets with Dr. Jeff here on Pet Life Radio, with our special guest, Chance White from Save Us Life Microchip, talking about microchips. If you want to get a hold of us, if you have a question for me or for Chance, anything about microchip or your pet's microchip, give us a call at 877-385-8882. You can also join us live. Just click on Pet Life Radio's Ask the Vets tab and scroll down, and you're going to see you can type a message or you can join us. There's a link there for Google Hangouts. It's really cool because you can join us live and ask away. If you even want to show us your dog or your cat, you can do that as well. And lastly, you can always send me an email to drjeff, that's Dr. Jeff, at PetLifeRadio.com, and we will get a hold of you as well. So anyway, so we were talking about the microchip issue and the universality of the newer versus the older chips. Now all the chips are what we call ISO. All the companies have made the move. U.S. made the move about 2 years ago. Unfortunately, sadly, we were the last country on the planet to do it. I mean, even Canada did it before we did. Yeah, I mean, that's bad. So anyway, I think there was so much money. I hate to bring it down to dollars and cents, but guess what? That's exactly what it was. These companies had such a huge inventory of microchips, of the old-fashioned, the old frequency. They didn't want to make the move. They said, oh, my God, we got to get our money's worth out of these things. So they were holdouts and holdouts and holdouts, but now it didn't happen anymore. So now that we're all on one frequency, any reader in the world will be able to read your chip, which is great. So, you know, another thing, Chance and I were just at the North American Veterinary Conference in Orlando, Florida. Quite a packed show, huh, Chance?
It was very, very busy. Very busy. One of the biggest shows in the country, actually.
And so what do you think is new? What kind of talk was out there about some new technologies in veterinary medicine?
I think the most prominent conversation out there was telemedicine. Are you familiar with telemedicine?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I have. You know, it's interesting. People don't even know about telemedicine, yet they probably know about it. They just said, oh, so that's telemedicine. Perfect example. Your dog gets into something from under the sink, all right? A chemical, and you are scared you-know-what-less, and you don't know who to call, and you call your vet or you find out, and there is a pet help hotline, either through ASPCA or University of Minnesota, manned 24/7. So you call that number, and you get a live person on the phone. Of course, there's a fee. You're talking to an expert, right? And you are picking their brain, and they are telling you what to do. That, my friends, is telemedicine. Here's one we use every day. You know, it would be great if every small animal practice, myself included, can have a board-certified radiologist on staff. Now, there are hospitals that have board-certified radiologists, but they're typically these big specialty, very expensive hospitals. So I take an x-ray, and darn, I am puzzled. I'm trying to put together the symptoms with the x-ray and vice versa and see if I can come up with the answer. And I'm stumped. Hey, remember, I'm a GP. I'm that jack of all trades, master of none. So I'm pretty good, doing it for 32 years. I have a good idea, but you know what? This is a tough one. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send this x-ray through a company we work with for a fee to a radiologist. Now, do I know where that radiologist is? For all I know, that radiologist is sitting on the beach in Maui, right, and having a good time, and yet he or she is reading my x-ray, writing a report, and I'm getting a specialist checking in on my case, advising me, making a diagnosis for me. I'm a happy camper. Of course, the client pays for it, but you are getting that kind of service. And when you think about that's telemedicine, guys, but when you think about what's the alternative? The alternative, I have to send you to a specialist, all right? Now, what do you think, Chance? What do you think, to tell our listeners here, the cost difference between seeing a specialist when you're not sure or going through like a telemedicine thing where it stays in the hands of your GP?
I just went through this process with one of my dogs, Zeppy. He has congenital heart disease, and I spent $260 to go see this particular doctor right here in Austin, Texas, after a consult that I had over the phone with my doctor and this particular doctor. Now, I'm paying for the same thing twice. Now, I'll tell you what, the one thing that bothers me about that's not convenient for me. That doesn't make me feel good. Most people don't want to pay for the same thing twice. Why couldn't I have just seen that veterinarian on the first go-round virtually, online? What if I could actually sit at my house with my pet, talk to my veterinarian like we're doing right now, and actually get a consult. Is that something of value to the average listener? I would say absolutely. Me being a pet owner, I can appreciate the value of not having to wrangle up all my crazy pets, put them in my car, drive down to the clinic, and have to deal with the problem that I had dealing with this particular doctor about congenital heart disease. I would rather talk to the doctor face-to-face like we're doing right now. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Chance, quick question. This is going to drive the point home for everybody. Okay. Chance, I know you are an avid New England Pats fan. Okay?
That's true.
And you're watching that game today, right? For your sake, you hoping they're beating the Broncos. And you're saying, God darn, I'm hungry. I want a pizza. What are you going to do? Are you going to get in the car and drive down, or are you going to go on your phone, click one of those websites, and have your pizza delivered to you? It might cost you $5, $10 extra bucks, but big deal. What's more valuable, that game, your time, or the $5 extra you might spend for that pizza?
That's right. So basically what you're saying is, would it be as convenient as ordering a pizza sitting at my house than it would be to talk to my veterinarian, Dr. Jeff, about Cassie, who's sitting right here, and she's not feeling too good. And she needs I need to see you. Am I going to get in my car and run over there to see you right away? Not unless it's an emergency. And a lot of times, Dr. Jeff, most of the cases that come in, they're not technically emergency. And if I could get the peace of mind to talk to you and say, look, Chance, the dog's going to be fine, do this, that, or the other thing, come in, see me tomorrow, and we'll deal with it. But for now, you can sleep through the night or watch the rest of the game, not to be selfish, so that I can actually not ruin the whole Sunday that I have off as I'm home, not traveling. It's important to me. My time is valuable just like yours is. And I think that it's fair to say that I would pay that money to see you online and feel more comfortable, and it wouldn't ruin or disrupt my life over something that may or may not be an emergency. I think that's the most important value of what they're calling telemedicine, virtual medicine, whatever you want to call it, because it is a new wave of the future, as you know from the human health space. I'm sure you know all the money that's been invested behind the human health space in doctors visiting their patients online. Are you familiar with that?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. Think about it. There's something in medicine called concierge medicine. And that is where the doctor is available, or a doctor in a team or network that your doctor may belong to, where that patient of yours can reach somebody 24/7. And they pay a fee for that in advance. In fact, I'm sure many of you out there right now have already gotten letters from your general practitioners or your internists saying, okay, the world is a-changing, and we have different levels of service that we can provide you. If you're healthy and you just come in once a year no matter what, then stay where you are. But if you want to have access to us via phone, priority appointments, whatever the case may be, here's our fee levels. And this is what's going on in medicine. And I truly believe that this is going to happen in veterinary medicine, because I know from my kids, I know from my young associates, if I have a question, even a medical question, all right, it's not even the computer they're going to anymore. They're taking out their phone and they're going on that app. You can get an app for almost everything. And they are, even now, it's interesting. I went to a talk at the NAVC, the North American Vet Conference, Chance, and this woman was saying, she's marketing, every one of your hospitals needs to have a phone access. You can either do it as an app, you can download it from the website, whatever it is. That's what clients are going to do. They want the phone, they want the convenience, they want to make appointments, they want to leave a message for the doctor, whatever it is, and it's happening. And I totally agree with you. I think that is the wave of the future, and I think veterinarians will like it as well. I mean, right now, I do my own emergencies, so I have to go in. Wouldn't it be cool if my client contacts me and I can do this thing, talk to them, they can show me the pet, they can show me that lesion on the side that they're so worried about, they can show me that incision that the dog licked open, and they're worried about it, not bleeding, but it's wide, and they're panicked. If they couldn't get a hold of me, they'd rush to an emergency center, and they'd probably spend 3 to 4 times the amount of dollars. Whereas if they can see me...
What would that cost be? Just out of curiosity, in Los Angeles, I know this, but I'm asking you, how much would it cost me to rush my dog or cat into the emergency room when you're not available? How much would it cost me as your client, even though you sent me to that emergency room? How much would it cost me?
I would say the average emergency office call in our area is between $175 and $225 just to walk in the door.
That's how much it is in Texas. It's $200 here.
Four times what our basic office call is.
And that's without any medicine.
That's just to walk in the door, baby. That's all it is.
No medicine included, no diagnosis, nothing.
Right.
Okay. Just so we know where we stand.
What I would say to a client is, would you be okay with spending, I don't know, $49, $50, whatever, to have that peace of mind? It's going to save clients money to be able to talk to a real person.
Right.
And not to mention peace of mind.
Absolutely.
Peace of mind. So anyway, I think everybody should be on the lookout. I really do think heard a lot of talk about it, as you mentioned. I think that is a wave. I think, we have a lot of these millennials. We have these Gen Xers. They don't know what a phone is. They hate going in the car. Everything is done on their phones their computers. This woman was saying it's not even the computer anymore. Your laptop. Now it's the phone. That little phone, whatever it is your God, right? Never leaves your hand.
They say the average person touches their mobile device 150 times every day. Take that to a teenager. They're texting everybody they know. They touch it 5 million times a day. What's interesting is, I think in March there's another vet show. What show is that, Dr. Jeff? That's the
Western Veterinary Conference in Vegas.
Okay, that I think is a show that people are going to want to be at. I think that there's going to be a product there that people are going to see, and I'm hinting to where we're going with the telemedicine thing, that's going to launch at the Western Veterinary Conference that will be one of the game changers that people actually want. I think it's something you're going to remember forever because it's going nowhere. It's only going to get bigger. And being a veterinarian for 32 years, what do you think this will do for veterinary medicine as you being the doctor, primary owner of your clinic and your patients? How do you think this will affect things moving forward?
I think it's going to enhance patient care. It's going to give people the opportunity to get their questions answered regularly, and it's going to save clients a lot of dollars. And I think for the veterinarian, it can save time for sure. Oh, big time for both. It's going to save the veterinarian's time. They said I do my own emergencies. I go in a lot. It would be great because I'd say half the cases I go in on, I didn't have to go in. Had I known exactly what it looked like, what it was, what was going on beforehand, I would have said, you know what, no. I see that little lesion. I see that limp. Not a problem. I can tell you right now it's not broken. We'll see you in the morning for a regular exam, and we'll take our x-rays then. No rush. No. Here, try this if you have any pain meds. There's some that are safe. It's just a way to communicate with our patients. Anyway, great talk. You know what? Chance, after Western, we're going to have you back on. We're going to talk some more. Cass, thank you so much for joining us here on Pet Life Radio. Ask the Vets with Dr. Jeff. And for all of you, thanks again to our sponsors, Save This Life Microchip, Elanco, Lilly, Comfortis and Trifexis, and Kong Veterinary Products, and of course, Prosense, the veterinary quality products you can get at your mass retailer. We'll see you all here next week. Have a great week, everybody.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.